So what I'm going to do now is hand over to Mahbub Hassan at Macquarie Uni, who's going to be talking about openEQUELLA and H5P.
Hey, hello. Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Hi, I'm Mahbub. I'm from Macquarie Uni. What I wanted to share is the recent development we did with Edalex consultancy for our users. One requirement regarding H5P. And I just want to show what we have achieved so far. Just a moment, I will try to share my screen. Okay. Okay, can everyone see my slides? Oh, sorry. Okay. Just 1 second. I will have to. Yeah, how do I go to the? Why it doesn't give me going to slideshow? Okay, yeah, okay, cool. Okay, can everyone see my slides? Yes, okay.
Yeah, we can see them.
Yeah, so I'll try to keep it short. Yeah, so H5P, I'm just touching on H5P in case if anyone is still not 100% sure what H5P files are. The H5P stands for HTML5 package. Basically, it's a standard package. Yep, a package, a standard rather, for educational interactive content. And up until now, Equella didn't really natively support H5P files. So file could be uploaded as files and can be stored, of course, but there was no native player to play it, let's say, if I can call it player. And there was some way around that we could use is converting the H5P files to SCORM package files and then use it, but then it still doesn't serve the purpose that the H5P packages, which are standard interactive contents nowadays, are not natively playable in Equella. So I reached out to Edalex if we can use some of our consultancy allocations on this. And yeah, Nelson, both Nelson actually, Nelson P and Nelson C, PNC. So they actually assisted with this proof. Again, it's a proof of concept. It turned out to be successful. And yeah, we just recently launched this for our users. And I just want to show a sneak peek of that. What we did, by the way, I wanted to, initially I thought I would demonstrate, but then I thought that it might just waste some time because H5P packages, what we discovered, can take a bit of time when they get extracted and converted. So I would just use the screenshots in this case, so to keep it faster. Okay, so what we did is we had to define a separate file format for within Equella for H5P type content. And so in our generic learning and teaching collection, we have as you can see from the screenshot, that we had audio, video, web, etc., and even zip package type attachments previously, and we added a new one for H5P, even though it belongs to the zip package category, but we just had to keep it separate because it just came with its own way of processing. So we just added a file picker for that. And what happens at the background is when this is the implementation that has been done, that when the file gets uploaded, the package gets extracted internally and then gets processed, and it converts into a playable format. And yeah, we decided to name it as H5P content. So basically what you can see is the item summary page. And if you see the link to resources, the original H5P package was called that time estimate dot H5P. Once it gets uploaded, Equella takes the time to get to process it and creates a natively playable package. And yeah, we decided to name it as H5P content, so it remains consistent to users that this is H5P, and we users will be actually embedding or linking to this H5P content link for their LMS or wherever they want to use it. And this is an example that has been uploaded. And if you click on that H5P content link, this is how on browser it appears. As you can see, it's an interactive quiz, or it can be a game even, or however people build it. And one thing I wanted to point out is that the URL is normally we have item URL and then slash attachment name, because we converted the file name to H5P content, and that actually is a H5P.html file that has been generated by openEQUELLA. So the URL becomes standard length, as you can see here. How it was done, what has been done is a new MIME type has been added for H5P, as you can see. For this type of content, the additional MIME type that has been incorporated in Equella, which didn't exist, I think, before, is H5P type. One thing to consider is, so far, we can only handle one H5P package at a time. So that means for the collection contribution, we have to restrict users not to be able to upload more than one H5P at a time. And that's also, for that requirement, we couldn't just use the package content type format that we already had, because that people might just pick more than one file here, or an H5P plus an additional document. That wouldn't work. So we had to keep it separate file format, and this MIME type would only allow H5P and only one attachment for this one item. So that's the limitation we are handling with right now. But I think that's also, yeah, for now, that's serving our purpose. People just wanted H5P. So if they need more, I would just say, then contribute a new item. So keep them separate for better management. And yeah, there was a bit of coding involved. So in the collection expert scripting area, there was a lines of codes there that Nelson, both Nelson again, PNC Nelson's written, and it's like 150 lines of additional safe script code that's there in the collection expert script area to process the file and to generate that H5P.html package, and yeah, a bit of scripted section in the display template to display the content on browser. And yeah, I think that's about it. I just wanted to give a sneak peek. I and Wei Dong at our end, we did testing and came up with suggestions where we can make some improvement or change. Another thing that was done, which we didn't enable, is also natively previewing the content output within the summary page. It was implemented, but just to keep our other items in our Equella environment, we don't have any like summary page preview incorporated for other content like videos or audios. That's a multimedia content. So we didn't want to just use that for H5P. It just creates the look inconsistent with other items. So we might enable it at some point if we can enable similar sort of thing for any other items, maybe. But that was also developed by Nelson. So yeah, that's probably it from me. If anyone is interested, or if you need similar sort of implementation for your environment, you can just get in touch with Nelson. Perez Nelson saying they can also tell you what sort of coding they use and how complex was it. But at least from our side, we laid out the requirement and we worked together to suggest any changes, and this is where we have been up to. Yeah, that's it for me.
Perfect, Mahbub. Yeah, there's a few questions and I'll ask them, but if it helps and in true spirit of the theme, it's Perez, Nelson Perez. Get the James Bond reference, everybody? But anyway. So yeah, Brendan, does it launch within openEQUELLA? I think that was, yeah, Mahbub showed that in the end, how that launched. Does it track submissions, Mahbub?
Yeah, that's a good question. We have so far using it for just for use cases where we don't need to see who did it, and they say, for example, if it was a quiz, who did participate in the quiz and who failed, who passed. We haven't implemented those. Our use case for this is not to cover those scenarios, because our LMS already, I mean, Moodle already has a H5P support with grading options. This use case was to keep another use case for H5P where they don't necessarily are using a course in Moodle to deliver it. For example, in our use, one of our use case is the library delivering training materials that people have to just do it if they want to learn how to use library catalog, something like that. So for now, we are not tracking it, but I think it's with the EQUELLA's reporting, we can implement who interacted with it and who hasn't interacted with it, or how many people interacted with it, that sort of stats. But as we are not considering any grading option, because these H5P packages are not storing grades. So this is only for as you wish training materials type of use case, or just giving new students some vocabulary to start their uni life, or something like that. Any foundational material that doesn't track pass or fail.
Terrific. Thanks, Mahbub. Amy, I saw you had your hand up. I'll read your question, but if you did want to come off mute to ask or extend on that question, feel free. Amy asked, can it be embedded like regular H5P into the LMS? Moodle, for example, has an H5P bank that allows H5P to be added to a text base. I know you mentioned Moodle briefly, Mahbub, but yeah, do you want to respond to that? And again, Amy, if you want to come off mute to extend that question, feel free.
Yeah, I was just kind of wondering what the purpose of it is when Moodle has H5P already embedded. I thought maybe you didn't use Moodle, but then you just said that you do. So you're using it mainly for the course for
yeah. I mean this is we are using it for cases where people are not for a staff who wants to do something, that we build something for staff or students, not necessarily who would have to go to Moodle, for example, because we can do it for professional staff who not necessarily have access to the Moodle platform, but we can still host a training course for occupational safety, for example. As I mentioned, libraries, how to use libraries system, that sort of training packages can be there, and yeah, interactive video based or interactive quiz based, that sort of thing.
But does it have the capability to embed back into Moodle?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, H5P is it's a standardized package. You can
No, but I mean from EQUELLA. So if you were to go and find it in EQUELLA, would it embed into a text editor?
Maybe I can chime in here,
yeah.
Amy and Mahbub, right? So H5, basically those H5P packages, I mean, in the backend, when Press is developing this script, and we have been discussing it on how to implement that. So what what it actually does is right now we are uploading the package in Aquella, create an HTML that will embed the player to play that package, right? So this scenario is just similar to the SCORM packages.
Yeah.
What we can do is in your Moodle, if you are, let's say, embedding Aquella's, I mean the H5P.html URL into your Moodle, and iframe the HTML in your Moodle's, let's say, course or page. Actually, the H5P content will be played in your Moodle environment as well, because it is just embedding the player from Aquella, right? But if you're talking about directly pulling the H5P package into an import into your Moodle's H5P bank, that is something else. That is not.
No,
That
not
is not.
necessarily
We can
that,
do it.
no.
Something we can do it.
Embedding it more than anything. Okay, that's good to know.
Perfect. Megan, I see you've got your hand up. You want to ask a question?
I noticed that you're adding a link from the item record to the HTML file that's obviously stored somewhere. Why are you not actually attaching the new HTML converted file so that that can be then downloaded and used as a separate file as HTML and not necessarily be dependent on H5P?
Nelson, again, this is to you.
All right. So Megan, H5P is somehow similar to SCORM package. So when we're talking about we are doing some transformation and generating the HTML, we are not really, I mean, modifying those upload packages. We are just extracting and unzipping those packages, and then generate a HTML page, which is a player that opens the HTML, the H5P packages. Again, similar to SCORM and SCORM's environment, you upload the SCORM player to you upload the SCORM package to Aquella. Aquella unzips it, extracts it, and then in the Aquella link there is actually pointing to the player that will load the content from the package itself, right? So basically, the link or the H5P HTML that we generated is not the player itself. It is just a page that loads the player and tell the player to load the package. So that is why, Megan, it is, I mean, what you mentioned there is actually not how things work in the background, and that's why we cannot do it in that way.
Okay. Terrific. Well, thanks, Nelson. I'll just, in interest of time, I'll just quickly read through some of the other comments. So Sam Parker flagged an interesting extension to explore would be just the storage of the tin can XAPI interactions with this content. There are 2 levels that he's aware of. Trev mentioned if it's not capturing responses, an OHS course wouldn't be a good use case, but valuable for things like rich ebooks. And Sam also added XSLT code would allow for the creation of the embed code on the fly for use on a say a library site. So yeah, good comments there. So yeah, thanks again, Mahbub, for demonstrating that. Certainly generated a lot of chat and commentary. So yeah, certainly encourage. What I'm going to do is set up some breakout rooms for the next 10 minutes. If you do need to stretch your legs, feel free to do that, but I'd also encourage you to join those rooms to do a little bit of networking. Just whilst we do that, I did find the survey results regarding the other storage tools. So I've just posted that into the chat just in case people are interested. But with that being said, I will set up some breakout rooms. And yeah, encourage you to jump in. Otherwise, I'll give you a warning when we regather back in the main room.